For this quiz, we need to know how to combine like terms. And remember, the rule is they have to be exactly the same, and you're going to add the numbers in front of them. You're going to add the coefficients. So you might see a problem that looks like this. M squared plus 5m plus m plus 40. The only two things that are exactly the same are these ones. Now this one doesn't have a number, but when it doesn't have a number, that means it has a 1 in front of it. So 5 plus 1, so your new answer would be m squared plus 6m plus 40. So you need to combine like terms. Maybe one that looks like this. 25 plus 0.6 plus r plus 23r plus r squared. And then there's parentheses around here. Now still, the only thing that you can combine would actually be these two. So I'm going to take my parentheses out, and I'm going to put parentheses around these two, because that makes it easier for me. So your answer, oh, and you can combine these two as well. So it would be 25 and 6/10 plus 24r plus r squared. There's no other r squared. Even if the variables are the same, they have to have the same exponent in order to be exactly the same. So you might see something like this as well. 45 plus 10 plus d, and parentheses around this one, equals 45 plus 10 plus 12. And instead, parentheses are around here. You have to figure out the value of d, and then you have to tell me what property they used. Your student should be able to look at the left side of the equation sign, compare it to the right side. 45 is already there. 10 is already there. D. D equals 12. What property did they use? Well, the only property that groups different numbers together to make it easier for yourself would be the associative property. Then I will give you an expression, and it'll look like maybe something like this. And I'm going to ask you to rewrite it using one of the properties. I would personally rearrange things and put parentheses around the things that are going to make it easier for me. And if you're using parentheses and regrouping things, you are using the associative property. I told the kids in class you can't go wrong with the associative property. There. Okay, I'll give you expressions and you have to figure out if they are equivalent to each other. We learned in class that we can use our rules, or we can even substitute numbers in for the variables. I always said 3 or above is a good number, so I'm going to go with 3. And then you just substitute in 10 times 3 plus 5 times 3 plus 3. And this one over here would be 18 times 3. And then you just solve using order of operations. Okay, the next thing they are going to need to know is using the distributive property. So maybe you'll see a problem like this. 8m plus 7. And really that means 8 times m, which is 8m, plus 8 times 7, which is 56. And you can't do anything else. So that one's done. You might see a problem like this. 2y, and then 5y on the inside, plus 10. That means 2 times 5, so that would be 10y squared plus 20y. And then I'll give you the problem without the parentheses, and I want you to pull out the greatest common factor, such as this, 24m plus 14. So I need to think of a number that goes into 24 and 14. And I don't know why I wrote 7, but 2. And how can I get 24 by doing 2 times 12? So I put 12m on the inside plus 7. You might even see one like this. 15h squared plus 5. They have 5 in common. This would be 5 times 3 times h times h. This would be 5 times 1. 5's in common, so 5's going to go on the outside. Inside's going to be 3h squared plus 1. And if you were to distribute, you would get the same answer that you started with. You would get this answer.